12-year-old Adela Addie Ramírez has a big decision to make when her stepfather proposes adoption. Addie loves Alex, the only father figure she's ever known, but with a new half-brother due in a few months and a big school theater performance on her mind, everything suddenly feels like it's moving too fast. She has a million questions, and the first is about the young man in the photo she found hidden away in her mother's things. Addie's sleuthing takes her to a New Mexico ranch, and her world expands to include the legendary Bravos, Rosie and Pancho, her paternal grandparents and former professional wrestlers, Eva and Maggie, her older identical twin cousins who love to spar in and out of the ring, Uncle Mateo, whose lucha, couture, and advice are unmatched, and Manny, her biological father, who's in the midst of a career comeback. As luchadores, the Bravos carry a strong legacy, but being part of a family is so much harder. It's about showing up, taking off your mask, and working through challenges together. Here is a preview of Tumble by Celia C. Pérez. I bit into a French fry, one of those tiny, crunchy pieces that always make their way to the bottom of the pile, just as Apollo slammed a folding chair across the eagle's back. The small TV on the shelf behind the counter was muted, and while I couldn't hear the whack of metal against muscle, it startled me anyway. I flinched and jabbed myself with a shard of potato, so hard that my eyes watered. "Aye," Alex said. He peered up at the TV from the flat-top grill and let out a slow whistle. "El Aguila is getting his butt kicked again, eh, Adelita?" "Yeah," I said. I ran my tongue over the fresh cut on the roof of my mouth. "Again." "Maybe he'll win this one, right?" Alex winked at me and cracked an egg into a bowl. I watched as he attacked the egg with a fork. Alex said the key to making a good scrambled egg was to keep the heat low and to beat the egg before pouring it into the pan. In general, I found the idea of eating eggs gross, but even I had to admit that Alex made a fine scrambled egg. Still, when he caught my eye and motioned to the runny glob he was cooking, I shook my head. Bacon grease popped and snapped on the grill as Apollo smacked the palm of his hand across the eagle's chest. A sizzle and the scrape of a spatula accompanied the eagle bouncing off the ropes, zipping across the ring, and attempting a failed clothesline. My insides jumped as if the mat, which vibrated with each impact, were sitting in the middle of my stomach. On screen, the eagle showed no signs of winning this one. He struggled to get up, only to be met with the toe of Apollo's golden boot. He didn't stand a chance. "Why does the eagle always have to lose?" I asked. "Because he's a jobber," Alex said, not looking up from the grill. "What's a jobber?" "A jobber puts over the other wrestler," Alex explained, as the eagle tried to untangle himself from the ropes. "Plain English, please." "It means his job is to lose and make the other guy look good," Alex said. "He's not a heel nor a face, not a bad guy and not a good guy, just a jobber," I finished. "Unlike Apollo, who was definitely the good guy. He's the one you're supposed to want to win. But Apollo had enough people cheering for him already, so I found myself going for the masked luchador. Mom says someone has to root for the underdog. That someone is me." While the eagle slowly got up and rolled back into the ring, Apollo climbed to the top turnbuckle and waited like he was the bird of prey. I knew what was coming next. Wrestling might look like chaos, just a couple of people brawling, but it's a ballet. And anyone who was a fan would know that the final curtain was about to drop. Sure enough, when the eagle stood and turned, Apollo pushed off like his boots had springs, flying through the air in his signature closing move, the sunset. "And that's lights out!" Alex yelled, just like the ringside announcer did every time Apollo finished off an opponent. He slashed his spatula through the air for dramatic effect. "Hey," I said with a frown, "whose side are you on anyway?" "Yours, Adelita." He pointed at me with the spatula. "Always." I rolled my eyes. Alex was my stepfather. He was supposed to say mushy stuff like that. Alex lifted his Albuquerque Isotopes baseball cap, revealing the shiny bald spot that had expanded over the years, the area of hair on his head shrinking like a polar glacier. He wiped his forehead with the back of his hand before pulling the cap on. "Order up!" he yelled, smashing the bell on the counter. On the TV screen, the eagle lay motionless in the ring. "Get up! Get up! Get up!" I thought the words so hard I was giving myself a headache. The referee dropped down next to the wrestlers and started the count. 1! He slapped his hand against the mat. "Get up!" 2! The crowd was counting along with him now. "Get up!" 3! The bell rang, signaling the end of the match. Apollo stood and pumped his fists in victory while the audience cheered and whistled in appreciation. In the grainy image, I could see the eagle's belly rise and fall with each heavy breath, like a ball of unbaked dough. He rolled over on his side, and the camera zoomed in on him. His spotted gold and brown mask was slightly twisted. Something about the way the mouth and eye holes didn't line up with his face made me feel sad for him. He looked like a helpless little kid who needed an adult to fix his costume. I wanted to reach through the TV and straighten him out. I slumped on my stool, feeling like I'd lost too. I looked away from the screen and pushed my fries around on the plate, making a French fry face on what was left of my pancake syrup. The door to the kitchen swung open and Mom came out of the back, pulling her curly dark hair up into a messy ponytail. Her t-shirt rose a bit, exposing her stomach, the tight skin like a big brown balloon ready to pop. "Mom," I whispered. "What?" she whispered back. I widened my eyes in the direction of her midsection. "Oh," she laughed and pulled down on her shirt. "I thought I felt a draft." "Not funny," I said. "Ay, ay, ay." Mom groaned and made a face at the TV, where the pounding fathers rode in on horseback while the Star-Spangled Banner played. "They could at least be historically accurate," she said. "The founding fathers came before the Star-Spangled Banner." "It's not supposed to be historically accurate," I said. "They're zombies." "And the zombies come after the apocalypse," Alex added. "Everyone knows that." Mom and I looked at each other and shook our heads. "Does this have to be on all the time?" Mom asked, reaching across the counter and switching off the TV. "It does," Alex said. "This is wrastlin' country, lady." And it was. Roswell had its aliens. Albuquerque had its hot air balloons. We had wrestling. Lots of people came into Esperanza, one town over, for Cactus Wrestling League matches at the arena. The diner stayed open later on the weekends to feed hungry fans after the matches. The menu was even separated into two sections: the undercard, breakfast and lunch, and the main event, which was dinner, of course. And this has been a preview of Tumble by Celia C. Pérez.